Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tangle Time Arts. My name is Nana Heron, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we are looking at week 2 of our Tangle of the Week. And I thought since some of us are also doing the a fragment of your imagination challenge, we kind of tie it into that. Today's challenge was the mini Molygon in the seed fragments. So I thought we'd look at Molygon, which is a tangle itself, but it can also be a fragment, and we can set up a reticula with the Molygon, and then we can put little mini tangles within it. So let's look at that. I don't think we've focused on Molygon before, so we'll just dive right in. For this week, you'll only need your basic materials. So you'll need either a white tile or a sketchbook or a white piece of computer paper, any white piece of paper. You'll need a black pen. I'm using the Apprentice pen, but you can use any black pen that you have. Number 2 pencil, and a tortillon. If you don't have a tortillon, you can use a cotton swab, a Q-tip, or even your finger to blend out the graphite. All right, so to get started, and for this one, we're not going to do the dots and the lines to make our frame because Molygon is very organic. It just kind of takes on a life of its own. So we're just going to see where it goes. And that's the fun of Molygon and the beauty of it as well. So I'm going to start with the first Molygon, not in the center. So I kind of want it maybe it's about an inch is where my cap is. And I am just going to put a curve. It's kind of the same size as my cap, like if I were to go all the way around. So I have a curve, and I tend to do the inside curves first, and then we're just going to kind of aura that, but it it has points on each end. So that's our first Molygon. And then I'm going to, from that point, I actually like to rotate around so that I can start the next one, not all the way at the end here, but a little, I would say about a third down. And then I'm going to make my next curve. I'm going to try to curve this around. And then that one's a little bigger. And we're just going to keep working our way around. Some of them are going to be thinner and some of them are going to be wider than others. And it's just the repetition over and over again. And we're just seeing where the little Molygons take us. I'm just going to keep coming around here. Yours might look different from mine depending on where your little Molygon shapes want to go. And I'm just going to keep coming around. I think I'll make this one a little smaller, and maybe add one more here. So we've come all the way around in a nice spiral, but I have a lot of space here. So I think I'll pick it up, I don't know, maybe like around here. And I am going to put a couple more in around this corner. Like that. Maybe I could fit one more in here just to kind of finish that off. That's a little backwards one. And then from that point, let's see, what would we like to do? We can kind of go, we have this curve here. So we could go like that. Put a Molygon in that way. And then start going around this way. So it's just kind of a matter of seeing where Molygon wants to go. So you're using your intuition for this one and just let it flow. In that sense, it's different from the grid type of tangles because that offers more structure. So I never know with these if they're going to want to be bigger or smaller. And maybe I'll finish that off there. And then we have, again, this area here. So let's take off from here. So you get kind of this articulated look with the Molygon. So for me, the result is always a bit unexpected, and that's the fun of it, part of the fun of it. Yours might be a little closer together than mine. All right. So we have something, you probably have something that looks like this, but it's not going to look exactly like this. And it just depends on the size of your Molygon and the spacing in between them and how they curved around. Yours might be a bigger circle, or it might be like a ribbon. We can actually put in a little more here off of this curve. So really the possibilities are endless as far as what can be done with this tangle. And a tiny one there. All right. So I think that looks pretty cool. And we could actually shade this at this point. We've done our tangle, and we could actually shade this. But what we have is a network of our little fragments here. We have a reticula, and we can actually put little tangles inside these. So instead of a square fragment or a triangle fragment or a circle or the seed-shaped fragment, we have a Molygon-shaped fragment. So let's leave a couple of them empty and we can just shade them like a regular Molygon. But for the rest of them, let's put some tangles inside. So I'm going to start out with something that I like to do a lot. And it depends if you want to start from this angle or from this angle. It doesn't matter, but I would suggest keeping them all the same. Um, so I've got my Molygon kind of going up, and I'm going to put a mini prita in it. And from that point, I can aura out from there like that, and then move on to the next one. So hold on just 1 second. I have to check on my pup. My apologies. Sometimes he still gets into things that he shouldn't. All right, we have our little prita, and then we're going to aura out from there. And I'm just going to finish this section like that. We'll do a couple of other different ones as we work along. Shh. He's protesting a little bit. Benji doesn't like shoveling. And we had a little bit of snow, just a dusting, but people are out shoveling. I probably should be doing that too, but I'd rather be here with you all doing this. All right, so we're just rotating around, putting in our mini prata and adding some auras. Shh. This one's really tiny. All right, so we have that. And like I said, we're just going to shade those without any tangles in it. But if you would like to put the prita in there, you can go ahead and fill that in so it's all consistent. Now we have other areas that we can fill in. And I'm trying to think what we would like to do. And I think for this area here, let's go with, let's make a curve. And then we'll make we'll aura that curve all the way over. And then we can ink in every other one. I'm gonna leave a little bit of a shiny area in this middle one. So these are very small spaces, so you could ink that in if you'd like to. And we're just going to do that for this whole section. Keep that consistent. Like that. So with mine, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the little curves. And that way I can ink in each end in that middle section. And these are small spaces, so you have to be patient with yourself because it does require some patience to ink it in. Now I'm doing each one individually, but you could do the line work first and then come back and ink it in. That's up to you. Let's try that for a couple of them. All right, then we can go back and ink in. It's really just a matter of your personal preference. And it does get more challenging as they get smaller. That's definitely one of the things about working with fragments. These are small spaces. They look really great when they're done, though. And this one's so thin that I think I'm just going to ink in the whole thing because it's too challenging otherwise for me. And this one's actually a little wider, so I will try to put in that shiny area. There we go. So we have that filled in. Now we can decide what else we would like to do. And I was thinking maybe of doing like little orbs in here. So I like to go around twice. I'm doing the full circle. But if you would prefer, you can do the other style where you have your full orb in the middle and then you have your other orbs coming off of it. So it's more of a squashed look, like they're squished in there. So my preference is just to have the orbs be full orbs and be separate. But you can decide which look you like better. That's completely up to you. I'm just going to put my little orbs in and then come back and ink in. And this one's only going to get one little orb in there because it's so tiny. Another thing you could do instead of inking in the areas I've inked in, you could do the flip side, and I'll just do one. You can actually ink in your orbs. So that's something different that you could do if you'd like. So I have one in that style. But my preference is for these over these. All right, and then we could see what's something different that we could do. We could do a line down the middle and then make diagonal lines from that. Kind of like a little leaf. These are getting very small. Just leave that like that. And then for these over here, let's just do let's just do a nice point on each end. And then we can connect that. So you can play around with these and use official mini tangles, or you can play around with it and put your own designs in there. So this is just a point and then a line connecting it. This is very tiny, so it's not going to show up that well, but we'll just do the best we can. So this is our Molygon with as a fragment with different tangles inside. So we have Molygon, and then we have this with the printemps, And then we have this is almost like a Marasu one. Our little leaves. This one we just kind of made up. And then this one with the little orbs in it. So now we're going to do some shading. So for our regular Molygon, I'm probably just going to shade at the points here. And then for our Prata one, I'm going to put a little shading in the center of each. And there are lots of different ways you could shade these. You can even put a little shading along here, like along these points too, to keep up with our original. So let's go ahead and do that. So these are on a nice spiral. All right, for these, maybe I'm just going to shade along the bottom. And then for these as well, shading along the bottom. Let's see. And then our little orbs don't really need anything. We can use our tortillon just to put a little shading in there. And I think our leaves, I'm going to shade from the outer tips here. All right, now we can take our tortilla, and I'm starting from the center, shading that out. Oops, I forgot to add shade in there, so I'm going to just add it with my tortillon. These are circular motions here. Just a little bit, you don't need to do a lot. And then a little shading on the tips. Like that. And then we have these, which we just did along the bottom portion. And rotate this way so I can get these, which are also along the bottom. So there's just so many variations you can do with the Molygon. It's really cool. It's really a lot of fun. And these are the outside tips. And then if you wanted to add a little bit to your orbs, if you have like a larger one in each that you can add to, you can. These are pretty small, but you can add just a little bit of shading there. And that's it. That's our Molygon play for today. It's actually pretty cool. And you can keep going. You can keep adding some Molygon in these areas until you have the entire space filled. But I'll let you play around with that. Actually, this is pretty cool. I love the way how it comes back out from these areas. And you could totally take that out and do a little more. Or not. I'm going to leave this as it is because I actually like the white space that I have around it. So I'm going to leave that. And I am going to put my initials on it somewhere. And I think I am just going to come off of this one and put my initials in there. like that. All right, I'm gonna flip that over and put my name on it. And it is a 12. And this is our 2025 weekly tangle. This is our second week, and it's Molygon. And it's Molygon as a fragment, too. And this is by Zentangle. So Molygon's one of the official tangles. All right. So play around with Molygon. It's so organic and flowy and so much fun. And honestly, like I said, I never know what I'm going to end up with when I do Molygon because it literally takes on a life of its own and it kind of curves and goes where it wants to go. So I've just learned to go with it. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow, right? All right. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of Molygon. Totally fun. I hope you enjoy it and play around with it. And I will see you for our third project at the end of the week. All right. You take care. Everyone have a great week. And I'll see you soon. Love you guys. Bye.